He's a beast. But here we are, game one, M5 versus Megashock. This is the finals for qualifier number 2, and we are getting straight on into this.
Yeah.
M5's got the option, first ban, first pick in blue side. They're going to go ahead and take it, and we'll see where they go from here. So,
and really, that Zillion pick, it's not so much for reviving the Cog, but the Jax is like, that's such an awesome combo. And that, we have seen that from them a number of times. So Zillion's just an all-around strong champion. You have Jax, he can just, get in there, do what he wants, and having the revive is awesome. First ban, Nautilus, just an all-around strong champion, and Galio as well. And Alexich has played a lot of Galio, with the teleport usually, so that's definitely a strong champion. They kind of tend to run tankier teams, and that's kind of, one of the things they're known for. Those tanky, really late-game teams that just never die and always sustain through your damage.
So, talking about some of the champs these teams are more known for, Galio of course being one of them. Do you think it's not? I don't think quite worth doing something like a Zillion ban. There's the Fizz ban, and actually, here, because the Fizz ban tells us that M5's really done their homework about this matchup. Because right here on Fizz, Kautar's had quite a good success with Fizz if you actually look at his solo queue stuff.
Really?
Yes.
So that's interesting. Have we seen Fizz from them the past couple of matches?
I don't believe we. Let me double check actually, because I got the records right here.
I mean, Fizz can just be a nasty pick, and it's kind of interesting. He's unusual to pick with a team because he can fall off late, and he's a single target burst DPSer, or a single target assassin. But if you can't pick off that one target, then you have to wait for your long cooldown, so you're kind of just sitting there. So, it is an interesting pick. It can snowball games very early though, so they want to take out that potential. Banning out the Karthus as well. They like to play those upfront kind of teams, and that's kind of what Karthus counters. And then the Urgot ban from Megashock definitely makes sense. It's just a strong all-around champion. Yeah. Soraka would be a really nice pick for M5 right here. They could also go with the Janna, but because of their tendencies towards those tankier lineups, Soraka definitely works. Or they could go with someone like Kennen that has shown a lot of versatility, could be thrown in any of the lanes.
Yeah, last time
Nocturne as well. Nocturne.
Megashock versus Teamless. There's actually a lot of Fizz play from Teamless's side actually.
Oh,
so it's kind of like a nice quick little primer. But you look at the Sogu, and Kautar's actually got some working with Fizz himself. Also with Karthus as well. But there's also been quite a bit of Annie play coming in from Kautar as well. So may actually, I don't know, Annie versus
well, not versus Anivia. That
no.
is not going to happen. But I mean, Anivia definitely a really strong first pick. So Anivia just works in almost any team comp, and that's the reason you tend to not first pick your top or your mid lane is because it's you can either counter them out or it forces you into a certain team. Like if you run Jax as your first pick, then you're kind of forced to build a team around Jax to an extent, but he's still going to be very strong at top lane. Anivia just works in any team comp and is just an all-around beast in the mid lane. And picking up the Nocturne pick, definitely a smart decision. Picking up that tier 1 jungler. So we'll see what they go. Taric actually.
So Taric being taken here, from Megashock. I'm expecting possibly picks 2 and 3 for them to actually go with the Corki, have all that armor shred. It's something they've done before. They may very well go for it. But the Nocturne also a fantastic pick, and especially going up against someone like the Anivia, just go right through the wall. But it looks like Leona more likely going to be picked here in the bottom. Could have a very aggressive lane partner. There's the Cog.
Wow, I'm
There's
actually
the
kind
Cog
of surprised. This the Leona is kind of a weird pick, and Nunu or Soraka both make a little bit more sense.
Red Krang.
Because the issue is that Taric is such a strong support, and he can play a defensive kind of regen support, or he can be more aggressive. And so Taric is probably going to be paired with someone like Graves or Corki, who has that follow-up burst. If you pick up the stun, then very easily you're going to be able to follow up on it. But so generally speaking, against that, you're going to want to run Soraka, Nunu, or Janna. One of those three. Nunu definitely makes sense. And you were talking about the Nunu early, and it has been just such a common setup in that bottom lane. And the big thing is the attack speed slow is just so devastating. Then having the Blood Boil on your carry, and it works perfectly with Kog'Maw, and it can shut down that burst damage that you're looking for. When you have like a Graves and Taric, yes, Graves is going to be able to get off his AoE, but he's not going to have the follow-up attack speed because of the Nunu slow. And then Kog just has so much range. He can sit back, be safe, and then just eat away at you from a distance.
Ooh, Kassadin could be picked up here, and Kassadin versus Anivia, and once he hits 6, he can go ahead, rift walk away, and get out of most of what Anivia has to offer. Plus, in combination with the Nocturne in these team fights, can help be a driving force to just jump to the back row and try and take out the Kog'Maw as quick as possible. Still looking for the top laner, still looking for the AD carry from Megashock here. Expecting the Corki there. Graves is also a pretty common champ for Etnix as well.
The issue with Graves is going to be that he doesn't have enough range to deal with Cog. So Ashe actually switching things up kind of makes sense, because if they went with Graves, his attack range is just so short that Nunu would never let him get in range of Cog, and Cog would just destroy him. So having Ashe, you have the really long attack range. They have a lot of disables, and the Ashe Nocturne combo is absolutely devastating.
Oh, yeah.
That definitely makes sense. And they have a lot of pickoff potential with Ashe, Nocturne, Kassadin. So it's an interesting team. Kassadin versus Nivea in the mid lane should be really interesting. We'll talk about that in a second, but actually coming over to M5, might be seeing a Nasus, which would be a very unusual pick. We haven't really seen Nasus in a while, and the issue with Nasus is the fact that you can kite him very easily, and they already have Kassadin and Ashe, who are very good at kiting. So there we go. Switch it up with Jax. He has a gap closer. Yep. Definitely makes a little bit more sense. Nasus just, he can be very strong, and farming in the late game, he can be a monster, but because he doesn't have a strong gap closer against a very mobile team, he can just struggle.
I'm thinking a Malphite last pick, though, for Megashock.
Yeah.
It's like El Mup, again, hopped on Elo Buff. I looked at El Muppo's win rate with Malphite, 92%. There it is. There's the Malphite last pick.
It's definitely a really strong pick, and particularly against Jax and Kog'Maw, he can shut down both of those champions. Kog generally has enough range that you can try and keep out of Malphite's pick, and that's going to be key for Genja, whether or not he can stay outside of El Mupo's range. But if Malphite can do well, he gets the attack speed slow. Not only can he do well in lane against Jax, or at the very least not die against him, which is your main goal, then late game, that potential to shut him down is very nice. The issue with their team right now is they have nice burst damage, but they don't really have very strong sustained damage. And Ashe really needs to farm into late game in order to provide that sustained damage. Her early game damage, just doesn't compare as much with other ADs. Kassadin has nice quick burst, but then he's cooldown dependent, and it's not usually enough to single shot someone. And then it's lots of physical damage, so not a lot of magic damage. Anivia in the mid lane is fairly tanky, so the concern is going to be whether or not Kassadin, when you consider her egg form and naturally a lot of times building into health items, like Froggen, he builds the Warmogs. So Kassadin might struggle a little bit with trying to burst Anivia down, and then having that AoE right up front where Anivia can do some quick burst damage with that Frostbite. But otherwise, it should be a pretty even lane. Kassadin generally does really well against most casters.
Yeah, but I'm thinking right now that actually Kog'Maw, if he does actually get sniped out, there could be a little bit of an issue too for M5 though, because this is very much they're trying to protect the Kog. You have the wall, you have the Nunu ult, and you got Jackson Shyvana just try and force everyone away from the back line. Granted, it is a lot of burst.
Yeah,
it's a lot of burst. It's not something you want to be focusing down with the Jax with his ultimate. You can go ahead, get that extra resist. Or with Anivia, you have the egg form. It's going to take a little longer. But I think this is sufficient enough burst to just outright take out Cog or Nunu or even Shyvana.
Yeah, it's it is a lot of burst later in the game. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Shyvana, with the natural resistances that you have from your ultimate, is going to be extremely tanky, so that'll be pretty tough to do. Jax as well has a lot of resistances, so they have actually a really tanky team, and having a tanky team and then Nunu up front along with the Anivia to be able to kind of provide that wall off, it's going to be tough for Megashock to penetrate the back line. And so Kassadin, if they can catch people out of position, then yes, they're going to have enough burst damage. In small fights, that's definitely where Megashock is going to thrive, and particularly that early game, they're going to look to just be really aggressive and pick up kills left and right. But once it's in a coordinated team fight, things become a little bit trickier. And Kassadin should be pretty safe from Cog, can kind of sit around the outside of the fight. But they might get themselves into a situation where they're looking at these frontline tanks in Shyvana, Jax, Nunu, and they can't penetrate that front line, and they can't kill them. So it'll be interesting to see. But they're in team fights early on, they'll definitely struggle against M5's team unless they have a significant advantage.
Yep. So, but I mean, still though, there's it's we got two really good setups here though.
Well, the big thing with Megashock's team is they have the initiation advantage, and that's
Yep.
something that you can almost never underestimate because you get to pick and choose when the fight is right for you. So if it's an even fight, and you're like, all right, well, hey, we're not going to fight now, no big deal. But if you are able to catch someone where maybe it's a 4v5 or something, you get a hard engage. Even landing an arrow on Cog,
Arrow
that
on
would just
anybody.
be that would be devastating. So we'll have to see. The cleanse on Ashe is kind of interesting. So it prevents some of their killing potential down bottom, particularly since Cog on the other side has a heal. And I'm kind of surprised that Cog didn't go cleanse. I thought he would. But it will protect Ashe from Jax. It will protect him from the snowball from Nunu, and then also if he gets close enough for Anivia, you do have to watch out for that wall when you're trying to push.
Yeah, but even then, you get the stun. If Tarek were to get the stun on the Kog'Maw, once you start hitting a little bit, later on in the game down in the bot lane, like if Nunu's 6 is like, okay, you stun Cog, I guess you're all gonna come in and try and kill me. There's Nunu with the ult, like immediately just to try and just dissuade everyone from trying to get in on this kill. But yeah, like I mean, I can understand the heal. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how it works out. But I like the cleanse on Ashe too. Well, like you said before, for the snowball, also the stun from Anivia, stun from Jax as well if he happens to make it to the back line.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. I mean, Nocturne does work well against Cogball. You have that initiation advantage, but it's going to be tough once M5 is able to get those coordinated fights that they want for Nocturne to just dive into the back line and then have to deal with the rest of M5, and they're going to take him apart. So we'll have to see. Both junglers are very fast, so both Diamond Procs and Goats, they'll be able to clear really quickly. Nocturne has a little bit of an advantage as far as aggression is concerned, but Diamond Procs going with that exhaust will open up some possibilities, for some ganks, particularly in that top lane early on. Middle lane, probably not going to see a whole lot of action until Nocturne hits 5 or 6, and then having the silence from Kassadin to set up the Nocturne gank, they could probably egg Anivia pretty easily, and then Nocturne has enough sustained damage to take her down while she's in that egg form.
So it may very well go down pretty quick. I mean, it worries me sometimes, whenever I see a jungler go exhaust as opposed to flash, because that reduces so many of your escape options. That means like you're committed to the kill. And sometimes you do see the exhaust on a Nocturne as well when he ults and he wants to go ahead and ensure he gets the kill. But Shyvana does have the dragon form, could get out of sticky situations. Nocturne, not so much. I like how he has the flash there. So just in case. But here we are, game 1 going on in M5 versus Megashock. The winner of this series is going to be going to IPL5. Period. And $1,000.
And $1,000. And then there's also going to be, once the qualifiers are over, we're also running the Mega Qualifiers, which is it's going to be all of the qualifiers for each region. We're going to run a tournament and for seeding, and then the first place of that tournament gets tickets and everything, or gets the flight and hotel and everything paid for. So it's definitely going to be worth it. I mean, clearly it's IPL5, so we'll see how they can pull it off. One thing that I'm kind of concerned about with Megashock's team, though, they have all this great early aggression. They have so much potential to pick up kills early on. Like, it's just absolutely a devastating lineup. However, because they have all 3 lanes are looking for kills, it could pull Goats all over the place. And usually, a lot of times, you'll try and construct a team where maybe you have 2 really defensive lanes and then 1 lane that all right, if I just pressure this lane, I can pick up kills. It does give them a little bit of randomness to a degree, where M5 doesn't know where Nocturne's going to be because all 3 lanes could legitimately pick up kills. All 3 of them have that kind of potential. So I don't know. We'll see how it works. If it kind of pulls Goats out of position where he can't really get the ganks that he wants, or if it opens up more opportunities just because there's so many of them. But the concern is if he's successful with a gank on bottom, Cog and Nunu, they'll play a little bit more defensively. But then if Kassadin's maybe not getting in on kills, maybe Kassadin falls behind and they really need him to snowball. So, but then it's like, okay, well, if you gank mid a lot, then maybe you're neglecting bottom and Kog'Maw starts to farm. So we'll have to see how that kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to actually see that early aggression go top lane. Get some extra gold in El Mupo's pocket. and have them start stacking those GP10s early so as the game continues on. Like, maybe make it necessary so Ghost doesn't have to go to top lane anymore. You gotta have the GP10s.
Oh wow! And actually,
right
the
there.
quick
There's
burst.
the Ignite going down onto Etnix, trying to get this kill. The exhaust going down onto Genja with Steve, trying to make some extra damage happen. And Genja getting pretty low already. Both the support and the carry for M5 down bot lane, chugging those health potions immediately. Blood Boil trying to keep Kog'Maw angry.
Everyone honestly takes it for granted, the fact that when you're walking into lane, the enemy could just be sitting there in that bush waiting for you. And having the Taric and the Ashe, they have some really quick burst damage, Ashe in particular early on. And people just don't tend to do it as much anymore. But because Nunu doesn't have that heal, they can take some early advantages.
Wow, Cowtard actually also getting hugely chunked out there in the mid, but he's drinking the potion too. He's going to be fine for now, so Alex trying to get the early aggression on as well. But yeah, Ashe entering lane, you have the passive fully procced. Like, your first hit, it's a guaranteed crit, so you might as well use it on a champ if you got it. But Diamond procs setting up for something here. Elmuppo waiting in the bush.
But in the meantime,
but there's
Goats
in the mid, getting the Q off onto Alex, just trying to harass him, just trying to keep him busy. But still, Diamond procs getting extremely aggressive early on in the enemy jungle. And that's one of Shyvana's, that's one of her things. That's one of the things she does. Aggressive counter jungling, taking the big golem already. But Goats is actually doing the same, going on for a race. And there's Etnix a little bit behind Steve, but look at all this damage going down on the Kog'Maw. And there's only so much that you can do, but there's Alex. It's way too far out. But Diamond Prox is here to help. There goes the stun on both members of Megashock here in the mid. The fear from Nocturne trying to do something, trying to keep him away. We'll be able to get out of there safe, but still pretty hurt right now. Cassidy, he's looking, things are getting dangerous.
Yeah, and early on, they don't have a strong enough engage in order to force a fight with Anivia, and Anivia is using that range versus the melee advantage against Kassadin, and actually just has a lot of burst damage. So a lot of AP champs mid. Part of the reason why Kassadin's so successful is, everyone knows about the passive, and you have that magic reduction, but a lot of AP champs don't have enough mana to have enough sustained damage. Anivia does, have mana issues, but because her burst is high enough compared to her mana ratios early on, as long as she hits her combos, she's going to do fine. And then once she has blue buff, being able to use the Frostbite with her ultimate, she can potentially zone out Kassadin. So that's going to be a concern for him, how he's going to continue farming against Anivia. But once he can get kind of going, and once Nocturne gets going, there's definitely a lot of potential for them to try and pick up some kills.
Megashock pushed up the lane, then decided to back Ashe, picking up a Dorn's Blade for herself, so Enix is going to have the extra health, lifesteal, damage, and still got the boots as well, and a mana potion too, just for good measure, just so you can go ahead and pump out those volleys just for a little while longer. And Elmuppo, granted, he's a little behind in creeps. He's being a very, very aggressive piece of coral here in this bot lane, just pushing those creeps relentlessly to tower, forcing Darien in a very unfortunate farming situation. So if he wants to go ahead and try and still pick up a lot of those creeps, he's going to have to burn some abilities, burn some of that mana. There's a stun going down onto Genja bot lane. Ednix just out of tower range, getting 3 shots.
Yeah, it's a really nice job from Ashe to be so aggressive. They have the heal,
but though right down the river. There's no ward coverage there, and here comes Shyvana trying to get the kill. There goes the cleanse from Ashe, trying to get away and volley. There's goes Steve trying to flash in response, and will Edix go down here? The heals coming in just in time from Taric, but Diamond Prox is still going in on this. Can he get the kill? Yes, first blood going for M5. Diamond Prox, good job just chasing right through that tower.
Yeah, really nice job. And they had the movement speed advantage. They have the exhaust. Ashe wants to be using the volley for defensive measures, and generally speaking, Ashe is going to be safe enough. Genja almost taking that one last tower shot to take him down. But yeah, they get the nice advantage, and that's huge for Cog. And Cog actually has significantly shorter range than Ashe when the W is down. But when it's up, his range advantage will allow Cog to get some nice harass. So we'll kind of see how that works. But if Ashe has to start playing on the defensive, then that might be a struggle for them if Cog is allowed to free farm in that game.
Yep, and our mids are not 6 yet. Cowtard and Alex are almost quite there. Once Casting his 6, he does have the Rift Walk available to him, so he's a little bit more mobile. Could be a little bit more elusive around Alex, but still the creeps are just swaying into M5's favor here on for pretty much most lane, almost every lane here. Alex has got pretty good lead on Cowtard pretty early on. Jax, top lane, Darian, despite being pushed to tower, is actually doing pretty well for himself, actually getting the revolver. So we'll probably maybe see a gunblade pretty early on from him. And there's Goats in the mid, just trying to keep Anivia away while, giving some room for Kautar to actually go ahead and back. May actually be picking up a Catalyst or maybe even a tier. Probably, I'm thinking Catalyst.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Catalyst is if you know you're going to be facing off against a lot of harass, having that early health is definitely huge. So tier would be if you're a little bit in more of a defensive, or I'm sorry, a passive lane where you can sit there and farm and you recognize, okay, I can just constantly spam abilities and whatnot, then that would be a nice situation. Yep. But Catalyst definitely makes sense.
Also, look at Alex. Alex has actually bought himself a Doran's Blade, which is interesting. Looking for some just the auto attack harass when you can get it, because I mean, range versus melee. Yeah, you can go ahead and get that ranged harass and pretty easy, actually.
I've never seen that before in Anivia, but it actually does work very well because Anivia actually has nice attack range and a nice attack animation. So Anivia's attack harass is always very nice, but actually Nocturne coming up here, and there is the Malphite ultimate and the Nocturne ultimate. Once Jax comes in, they're going to have the engage. Nocturne actually is only 5, but Darian going down very quickly does get the stun off, but he is going to go down any second. Now the flash actually trying to get out of there, and then Diamond Procs following it up. Can he pick up the kill into Goats? Actually, Goats is pretty low. Same thing with El Mupo. Oh, but he's chasing him down. He has the red buff. If he gets that attack, he does get that one attack, so he'll probably be able to take him down. That's slow.
Goats, can you get away from this? El Mupo trying to keep the slows, but no, decides to fight under tower. El Mupo almost going down himself, trying to make a last stand at the tower, but no, unfortunately, Goats does go down. So Diamond Procs, his awareness, his positioning in the lanes he needs to be in is actually fantastic so far. Recognizing, okay, Darian, you're in trouble. I need to get there quick. And right now, Kautar and Alex, they're good. They're trying to just make the best of the situation, but Kautar realized, okay, got the egg, don't have enough damage to go ahead and take that out. Might as well just go ahead and back while it's still safe. Almost died himself there, but it's okay. You got the egg popped. He's going to be down for a few minutes. Steve getting slowed under his own tower. The Ignite, they want this kill onto the Taric, and yes, the auto attack range from Genja will get that.
Yeah, really awesome job from Genja. And Cog, his damage output early on is really phenomenal. And when you have the follow-up with the Blood Boil from Nunu and the slows, Ashe, can't reciprocate. So really nice job there. Goats. Nocturne actually coming down bottom. Ashe probably about to hit 6.
Wait, yeah, once Ashe hits 6, Nocturne's nearby.
One
you have
more
the
minion.
ult.
I don't know if they're going to have enough follow-up damage, though, so Nocturne actually backing out of there because they're just, I don't know, it would be kind of a really risky situation for them to just continue giving Genja those advantages.
But, killing time, though, because Steve has respawned, heading on back down to lane. Kautar actually going to go ahead and pick up the blue as well. So after the blue is passed, may actually see Goats transition down to bot lane to looking for that gank. I don't know, something may happen. No, he's actually just going to go ahead and back and farm because bot lane from M5 actually decided to back. Cog stacking those Doran's Blades. Got the level 2 boots. Support Nunu. Got the first GP10. Got the Heart of Gold. Going to be working for the Philo Stone next. And for Nunu, I mean, the mana regen isn't too much of an issue. You have the passive. Blood Boil doesn't cost so much. Rather go ahead and get the health first.
Now, the nice thing about Kassadin versus Anivia at this point, Anivia's, Alex has just done a very excellent job so far. And having that auto attack, one thing you usually try and do is Anivia, you can get off the auto attack harass, and then if they stop, but actually we're going to have a fight coming down bottom. Nocturne coming in. There's the arrow on the Genja, and the Nocturne follow-up. Shyvana is here as well, though. The exhaust and the fear going off, but Genja just barely popping it. And there's the Shyvana ult comboing with the Nunu ultimate. Very quickly they pick up the 2 kills. And now the only survivor is Ashe. She will be able to get out of there, but this is going to be a dragon for M5.
That did not go as planned for Megashock at all. And, that I was mentioning during during Champ Select too. Even if you do get your engage, even if you do get your arrow and your ult, there's still the Nunu ult to contest with. And here's the thing, Taric, he was too preoccupied trying to go ahead and get that kill. Stun on the Nunu ult, could have done something, could have stopped it early, but no, it got the full proc, it got the slows, and allowed the time for Diamond Procs to actually get in there with the ult and do all the damage necessary. So little bit of a backfire, but El Mupo top lane, he's still being super aggressive here.
Yeah, and it's funny to look back, and there's been a long time where Nunu's ult was looked at as kind of a really weak ability, and it has great AP scaling. Everyone always recognized that, but just the fact that it was tough to use it as a damage dealing source on a team. But as far as zoning potential, it's absolutely phenomenal, and the fact that you can zone so easily with it. Now, going back to kind of what I was saying about mid, Anivia versus Kassadin, it's interesting because normally Anivia, you throw off the auto attack. If they stop to reciprocate, then you throw off the Flash Frost. However, Kassadin can silence mid Flash Frost. We'll see if Nocturne actually engages here. Kassadin can silence while the Flash Frost is in the air. Then you can't proc the stun. You just walk right at Anivia, or if you Rift Walk. So very easily, you have that kind of mobility where you can prevent a lot of that damage now. And, you know, Kaltard can kind of sit back and farm and then maybe put the pressure onto Anivia.
Yeah, Goats. I'm looking at Goats going through. He's grabbing his small golems right now, and he seems a bit lost. You know, those ganks. You know, he had every time he's been in lane to gank, things have just not quite gone his way. You know, he had the gank on top lane, still did die to Shyvana. You know, try to get for the gank, get combo with the Asho bot lane. Shyvana's still there, and ever omnipresent being. Like everywhere that Shyvana needs to be, she is there for the counter gank to go ahead and just help out M5. And Diamond Prox doing a fantastic job, but there we go.
Definitely in a bad situation there. The tower
the
dive.
ult under the tower. May still get the kill on Darian here. Yes, gets it. El Muppo gonna go ahead and get that credit. But there you go. Diamond Prox nowhere to be seen here. But they might want to get out of this situation because Shyvana is coming up to looking to defend the lane. Actually, he's gonna go ahead and grab the wolves. They know. They know. So they may actually just let top tier 1 fall here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're actually going to back off, but they have plenty of kill potential, and that's the nice thing about Malphite is you can be a very defensive lane, but then when you need to, you can just hop in there, use the ultimate, and take someone down. Genja getting some nice poke there. Ashe, you know, trying to poke down Nunu a little bit, but now they have Kassadin for backup. So if they can force a fight, having that silence as well is going to be huge, and it also provides them with enough burst damage, which is something that they lacked in that lane. So we'll see if they throw off the arrow to initiate on Genja.
And the second bush is not worded. There's the arrow, whiffing completely like through the field goal posts. Does not get anything on that one, but Kaltard still does push up to the second bush. But M5 are being cautious, and yeah, Kaltard's just going to go ahead and get out of there. It's like, hey, you missed the arrow. I'll be back when it's off a cooldown, which isn't going to be too long, but Snowball is going to go ahead and dissuade Ashe just a little bit. Nocturne in the mid, Goat's going to go ahead and cover, try and get some free farm. But Kaltard's now making his way back around, but now M5 is looking to mobilize once again. Shyvana's coming on down. El Muppo and Darian, there's a 2-level advantage here for El Muppo, and Megashock, when it starts hitting the team fight phase, they're going to be relying quite a bit on Malphite because he's their top performer at the moment. He's doing really well for himself. There you go, the stun go down, it goes to Pepper, and then Alex taking a whole bunch of damage, trying to keep Kaltard away from him. And now things are starting to, Megashock, they have a fair amount of damage, and now that things have progressed a little while, El Muppo's got the GP10s, getting some gold income for himself, got the Glacier Shroud as well. Etnix being slowed, has to force out the cleanse, and there's the Nunu ult. Can you get it on the end? Last tick, no. Etnix still threatened under tower here, though. Those artillery shots could actually do quite a bit and may even kill, but they're just going to go ahead and back off.
Yeah, so unfortunately not able to pick the kill, but even so, Genja is farming very successfully in that bottom lane. He's out farming Ashe. Yep. And Ashe, not only does Genja have the advantage, but Ashe actually going for 3 Dorans. Genja actually going for a Cloth and 2 Dorans. So I'm kind of curious for whether or not he'll build that into a late Wriggles, or if he's just using it for a little bit of survivability. And just picking up the survivability is definitely a really nice decision. Wriggles and double Dorans is a very common path for COG, but at this late in the game, the Wriggles would be really wasted. Like, there's no reason to get it 15 minutes in. Yeah. So we'll have to kind of see how they're kind of building. But both of them kind of going a little bit more early game, which means that those mid-game items, the Infinity Edge and whatnot, they'll be pushed back a little bit. So it's really going to be more reliant on their teams to take it down.
Nice Rift Walk right behind Alex, and immediately with all the assistance from Ghosts, and still under tower, still in tower range. A little bit of poor positioning coming in from Alex, and that's a kill for Kassadin, Nocturne, and the tower.
Yeah, really nice, damaging potential, and that's just, I don't know, that's kind of crushing to die underneath the turret, but that's part of the issue is Anivia needs to get up close and personal in order to get off that damage, particularly if you're trying to use the ultimate to try and proc that Frostbite. But I don't know, we'll have to see how that kind of factors in. Late game, Anivia is going to be a monster regardless of what kind of items she has, and she is farming very successfully, but Shyvana actually coming in behind Etnix, the ult over the wall, picks up the quick kill, and now Steve will be soon to follow. Genja with the follow-up grabs that kill as well.
Yikes, that's, again, the power of Shyvana, just, being all up in your business. And Diamond Prox has been spending a lot of time in enemy jungle, plus got the Oracles now, going to be doing a fair amount of counter warding as well. Then Dragon should actually be coming up relatively soon.
Yeah, it was
M5.
an 11-minute Dragon, so it'll be up in the next like 30 seconds. So,
So you go
they're
ahead,
definitely in position.
right in position to go ahead and grab Dragon number 2 for themselves. Nunu's there, ready to. He's looking for a snack, wants to go ahead and consume that thing. There's Cowtard, does get vision on, and Shyvana's actually going to go ahead and just shoot off some abilities, keep casting away. But that's the thing, though. Megashock knows about this upcoming Dragon attempt. So Ash, Taric, they need to hoof it. They need to get there real quick.
Yeah, but they will be able to back off, so Shyvana just going to continue farming the jungle, doesn't want to recall with the opportunity of losing that. Top tower going down to Malphite, so nice job there. But the issue is, with the Dragon fight, we might actually have it engaged. The silence and the slow. Nocturne and Malphite both have the follow-up. There's the knock-up and the quick kill.
Right in range of Malphite. And Diamond Prox does get fear, does silence and almost the fear. But there you go. That's the kill Megashock wanted. That's what you just go ahead, get the AP mid out of the situation, and also Oracle's on Goats now going to go ahead and take out some of those wards. And now this time, Megashock should be able to take this Dragon, but they're going to be under heavy fire while they do so, because Kog'Maw's still around, Nunu's still around. The steal threat is always going to be there, especially when you have a Cog. But
with Shyvana in the base and Nivea down, there's really no reason for them to engage on that, because Ash's arrow was up, so it'd be a 5v3. Ash, all she would need to do is arrow, and then all of a sudden they chase him down, pick up all 3 kills, and then instead of being ahead in this game 2k gold, M5 would all of a sudden be down, and it would just be absolutely terrible for them. So we'll see. They can continue to push in this game. Actually, the flash and the stun followed up by the arrow from Genja and the Nocturne ult as well. Shyvana is here though, and the flash from Genja just barely not able to proc that, get out of that fear. But in the meantime, Shyvana ulting onto Ash, and Ash does go down, and they're going to turn this around. Steve is going down as well, and Goats is the last one, but can they pick him up? Just barely getting out of range, so he does get to keep on that Oracles. But in the meantime, Cassidy actually was coming down as well, and the flash frost from Alex Ich able to get the stun, and then the flash as well. Cowtard trying to get out of there as desperately as he can.
So many flashes just trying to get away from this. There's Goats to try and help with the Q. Just a little bit extra damage, but Cowtard should actually be able to get away from this, albeit at a very slow crawling pace. But that's the thing, though. There was the fear that went down onto Genja. But, he was a little bit, Kog was a little bit too far away, and they decided to adjust focus and switch over to Diamond Prox, like right in the middle of the enemy team. I think they could have actually gotten the kill on Genja if they just went ahead and kept their focus.
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree, but I don't know, getting a little bit concerned there from the Shyvana. And the issue is Shyvana had the ultimate where she could have used it as a disengage. Malphite coming down, maybe trying to see if he could get a gank onto Alex Ich again, since that's been kind of the key spot for them. Malphite, that's always a strength of his, is not only being able to get the kills top, but then roam down mid against vulnerable mid laners. But even so, Alex Ich is farming very successfully, and with any early deaths or whatnot, it doesn't really matter that much. Anivia isn't really a farm-hungry champion. She benefits, immensely from farm. She scales very well as the game progresses, but that's the reason why you can go like these weird builds, like more Warmogs and stuff, because you have enough base burst and enough utility with your disables that all you kind of really need to do is be there to be successful as Anivia.
So I'm also, looking at Cog. He's farming pretty well. Cowchard way too far under a turret. There's the wall. They keep him away. He did already rift log away. There's the ignite. Will he go down here? The Malphite ult keeping Shyvana away just long enough for Cowchard to actually get away from that one. And now, El Muppo, you are a hero, man. Give that rock a badge.
I was wondering if, but actually Genja, the one more attack. Yes, Gosu Pepper able to pick that up. I was kind of wondering if, I'll go back and take a look at that for a second. I was wondering if, there was going to be one more auto attack from Anivia, the long range auto attack just following them down. And here's the nice thing about the Cog and Nunu. Cog is always going to be safe in that backline, and then you just have that chasing potential where you can just, take people down. So really nice job picking up the kill there. Anivia going to grab this blue. So, Alex Ich is going to be fine in that mid lane. And Darien, despite the struggles against Malphite, is doing a pretty solid job. He's farming very successfully. He has the Gunblade. He has the Merc Treads as well. So their whole team is kind of coming together at this point. And Megashock needs to start making some serious things happen, particularly like this bot lane with the Nocturne and Ash cast combo.
Ghost of Pepper taking a few turret shots, getting a little bit too hungry there, but there's the Nocturnal. They want the Nunu kill to try and get this fear going down on Riftwalk on over to try and finish the job as well. Just a few auto attacks, and the Q will do it. Cowtard grabbing the kill on Gosu Pepper. And
Yeah,
Genja has no choice but
Etnik's
to back off.
almost going down to Genja there, just barely getting out of range, so they couldn't get the follow-up onto the Cog because he was just too low. So, I don't know, but a nice kill. They cut the lead to 3K, but the issue is there's always that kind of impending doom from M5. When they start to group up, Cog has enough range where you can push towers very easily, and then if they try and engage on Cog, they're going to have to face with the rest of the team, and they have a very strong core team for team fights.
There's a Megashock though. They have El Muppo. They have the ult. He's doing really well for himself. Could just go zoom right towards the back line in combination with the Nocturne and the Cassidon. Don't even necessarily need the arrow to go ahead and catch up with that one. But then again, Ash Arrow on almost anyone of M5, it will be a benefit no matter what. There's no like huge tanks that they need to contend with. So pretty much anyone who gets Ash Arrowed could very well just die immediately.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of the case, but we'll see Darien meeting up with Goats here. He has the stun and the Gunblade. He can maybe chase it down, and he is, but there's the fear, so Goats should be able to get out of there. The Ignite going down as well.
With the silence onto Darien. Counter now also trying to get away, but Darien, he's got a lot of burst damage in that kit, so it's still a concern. Oh, they're going to go ahead, and here's El Muppo to try and help. Malphite ult, keeping Alex Itch busy, but Darien now trying to focus down Coutard. The stun will not hit anyone. Coutard may want to get away from there. Nice Rift Walk away. Auto attack from Alex Itch will not do it, but El Muppo does manage to get the kill on Darien, and there's the Ash Arrow as well, keeping Alex Itch busy. Does he still have the egg up? Yes, he does, so it's going to be a little bit while longer before he can go ahead and secure that kill. There's the Ash Volley, keeping Diamond Prox busy. Alex Itch will come back to life, albeit very weak, but yes, this does get the kill still, but bot lane, keep in mind, tier 1 has gone down.
Yeah, so they're able to pick up the turret and just keep these advantages, and it will be difficult for them to push in on M5 with the Anivia. We'll see if they get an engage here, though. Nocturne does have the ultimate, so they could potentially get in on Genja, and actually Malphite coming down as well, so they're trying to pinch him off. He might just force the engage. No, he's just going to back off, so doesn't want to deal with that, really strong farmed Kog'Maw and Nunu. And Cog actually has the Infinity Edge already over the Ashe, so Ashe still 1,000 gold behind, won't be able to finish that for a while, so they have that kind of advantage. The issue is going to be for Megashock is, if they can pick up kills, then they can push towers, but otherwise it's going to be tough pushing against Anivia, because Anivia is one of the best at in the game at clearing creep waves and then just stalling pushes. We've seen that with CLG versus M5 at DreamHack, and time and time again. And so you have the wall off for someone like Ashe who doesn't have quick escapes, and that could be a serious issue. But in the meantime, Megashock going to be grabbing this dragon, so nice job there. Continue, creeping up on M5's gold lead.
M5 a little bit out of position when a dragon respawn. Megashock going to go ahead and grab that pretty securely for themselves. The Ashe Hawk shot goes out, gets some vision, and there's already rushing it. M5's rushing Baron. They're going for it. They got 4 members, almost 5. Diamond Prox is not too far behind, but Coutard, the ward in the pit. Now, Megashock knows, and Nivea wall off, trying to keep El Muppo separate from the rest of the team. But there goes the Rift Walk into the fight. Ash Arrow going down on Darien, but the Gunblade proc will hit Etnix, and now M5 backing off. Are they going to go ahead? Are they going to re-engage? Ward still in the pit. Diamond Prox is going to go ahead and clear it out. And they're going to go ahead and back off of this.
Yeah, and they don't really need to have a fight, but M5, they want to force fights at this point. They want to try and pick people off because they have, such a strong Baron team and such a strong team fight team, so they can do it pretty easily. Shyvana should be okay. Actually, the Flash Frost almost nicking her, but is able to get out of there. Jax and Shyvana are both very strong at taking Baron, and then you have the damage from Kog'Maw, so it's going to be a fast Baron as well.
Yep.
But the fact is, that Jax can just sit there and tank it all day. So they're not really putting themselves at that much of a risk by forcing the Baron fight, and at the very least, they have the Anivia and the Nunu to kind of protect them if Malphite and Cass and everyone want to engage.
Yep.
So it's just an all-around kind of good decision for them. Maybe if the Baron was bugged, things would be a little bit different. But
thankfully, with the patch, the patch this morning has been fixed.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that's no longer an issue.
Happy days.
Oh, happy days again. Now I can play solo queue again without worry. But that's for another time. Jax got the regen on him. You got the Gunblade. So Darien's doing pretty good. Plus, also has the Giant's Belt. Maybe a Warmogs, maybe a Frozen Mallet as well. We'll have to see, as the build comes along. But still, no kills, no assists to his credit. Just sheer farm on him. But Malphite's El Muppo's doing pretty well for himself. That Frozen Heart was bought ridiculously early. Plus the Sunfire Cape. So just a lot of damage coming in from Malphite. He's going to be huge.
Yeah, and a lot of
continually
armor,
huge
so
for Megashock.
against most of their team, he's going to be very strong. In the meantime, I thought they were maybe going to continue forward on it, so they didn't know where Cog was, but it seemed like they maybe had an inkling because they all kind of started moving bottom, and I was like, oh, Genja, get out of there. But yeah, the armor is definitely going to be nice against all these champions. The issue is going to be that they actually have a really nice mix of magic damage, and if the attack speed slow against Cog will be strong from Malphite.
But
Actually, Kassadin trying to get in there, maybe poke him down a little bit.
But granted, there is the attack speed slow. M5 has an attack speed buff. Nunu has bought himself a Zeke's.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Oh, well, so it's both Blood Boil and Zeke's. And Zeke's on a sustained team is just such a strong item. So they have both Cog and Jax are just going to be constantly auto-attacking. So having that Zeke's is a huge benefit. And the one thing that Megashock might struggle with is a lot of times you expect Malphite to just hard shut down a lot of that physical damage, but it's not going to be the case against this team because Cog has a high mix of magic. Shyvana actually has a decent amount of magic damage as well. She's mostly physical, but and then Jax is a really high mix of magic. So they have that nice burst damage to go along with the physical.
So now Megashock, they're looking. Everyone's starting to go ahead and do a nice little dance off in mid. Dynamprox checking the Baron pit, making sure you can get the ward coverage down. Also clearing out any wards that Megashock may have in the area because they had the attempted Baron earlier. May go for it again pretty soon. But look at Darian. He's a little bit out of position. He is bot lane. Megashock may want to capitalize on this. So they could make this a very aggressive 3v5 if El Mubbo gets the ult he wants. Kog'Maw's behind, Jackson behind. There's the Asho right onto Alex Ich, and the Nocturne ult, and the Malphite ult. We may see the egg here very quickly, and Alex Ich goes down real quick in the mid. That was the engage they wanted. They used a lot of ults to get that, but you know what? Worth it.
Alex Ich, the entire game, he's like the butt of Megashock's jokes, and I don't know, just being up in that front line, someone's going to go down. He's kind of the main man, but they do have a really strong team. Even 4v5, they could probably win this fight if Megashock forces it, and actually Steve going down very quickly.
Ooh, Steve taking a lot of hits there. Needs to get out of there. There is the cleanse coming in from Etnix, just wants to make sure to secure the escape. But still, tier 1 in mid going down. Tier 2,
yep.
They got some damage on it as well. And Megashock, they got the engage they wanted. They absolutely got the engage they wanted. They got the kill they wanted, and that's just little fights like that. Granted, they're still behind in gold, but so the gap is slowly starting to close. It may actually return to neutral in the near future.
Yeah, and the issue for them, though, is going to be that M5, Alex Ich will probably be a little bit more defensive because if someone else is caught out on M5, as long as it's not Genja, if Darian or Shyvana or Nunu, if any of them get hit with the arrow, then Alex Ich will have enough control where he can just sit there and, wall off the enemy team or whatnot and just be like, no, it's not going to happen.
Oh,
actually, Kaltar taking a lot of damage from Dynamprox has to get out of there.
Yep, Goat's going to go ahead and just be there for the moral support. Bot lane, Etnix is trying to go ahead and get some extra farm on, but there's the vision. M5 knows that Ashe is bot lane, so they're once again trying to get in on this Baron. Nunu going to the wall just so Derry can go ahead and leap strike on over wall, keeping Steve out of the fight. Kaltar,
1, it's almost going to drop.
Right onto Darian, and Ghost, can you get in there? No, the Baron will go to M5, and now Megashock, they're in a bit of a retreat here. Kaltar is ridiculously low, and Goats does go down in the pit. Steve in a full retreat, but should get sandwiched in here. May not make it out alive because Ghost Survivor's here. The flash, the stuns, but will that be enough? The artillery, yes. So now it's a 5-man push from M5 up the mid. Megashock only has 3 members to defend this. El Muppo's still there though. He's got the ult, but can only do so much. Cowtard very weak.
There's no way they can defend this. So they have to just back off and allow the inhibitor to go down. Unfortunately, there's actually Darian with the hard engage. He is going down very quickly, though. He's almost dead. Oh, just barely getting out of there. And Ashe getting out, but Kassadin is able to pick up the kill. But now Genja tearing through Kassadin gets that kill, and the only survivor is Malphite, but this is going to be an inhibitor. And Genja is just so strong right now. Their entire team is just built around team fights, and it's just such a strong team right now. And that's always the issue with M5 is they play those late game, tanky, sustained kind of teams that are just dominant in team fights, and there's just not a lot of options for Megashock right now.
Darian was under tower, he was taking turret shots, and when El Muppo ulted, Darian was just walked right outside of turret range. If that ult came like a second earlier, that could have been a very drastically different fight because Darian would have not been able, he wouldn't have had, we wouldn't have walked away with just a shred of health. He would have still been dead. But this time, under tower range. So it could have allowed Megashock to go ahead and back off with a few more members intact. But And now M5, they're in a very dominant position here. They've gotten the Baron buff successfully, taking out all the a lot of objectives here. You got the Dragon, you got towers, you got the inhib in mid. There's not a whole lot here for Megashock to do apart from defend. It's about a 9K lead that M5 has right now. That is quite a bit of gold. A lot of it going to be on Genja. 5-0 and 8 has not died yet. You got the IE, you got the Phantom Dancer. You just got so much money, and so much money on that worm.
The issue is, Darien actually getting caught out, so this is definitely a nice boon for them. They get the silence, they get the slow as well. The fear will proc, but Darien is so tanky right now. He might actually get out of here, but one more attack will barely be able to do it. So Cassidy actually Nocturne able to grab that kill. So, that's definitely always huge for them. And the tough thing for Megashock right now is even if the gold was even, Megashock probably wouldn't be able to match up against M5 in team fights because M5's team fights are so strong. But they do have the advantage of the initiation, the quick pick-off. So if they can keep picking people off, it stalls out the game where maybe M5's like, dang it, Darien, seriously, it was you this time, it was Alex Itch last time. I mean, they just pull themselves into a situation where they can't push and end the game like they would like to. The issue, though, is Megashock, they don't really have a whole lot of options to stall the game.
Guardian Angel right now built onto Genja. That just sucks. And Guardian Angel is definitely like the #1 item to build if you're ahead because it helps you ensure that you stay in the lead. And it takes a lot of effort to just zoom in towards the back lane to try and kill Kog'Maw as is already. And it's gonna if it does happen, it's gonna require pretty much nearly every ult on Megashock like they've been doing before to get the engages they want. The Ash Arrow, followed up by Malphite ult and Nocturne ult as well. Steve, a little bit too far out. No! Genja just attacking over the wall should be more than enough, and there's the wall to make sure. Didn't even need it.
Yeah,
ooh, that sucks.
He's just so farmed at this point, has so much damage. And that's a serious issue. And it's just kind of like at this point in time, with the inhibitor down, one thing that maybe you would try and consider is split pushing Nocturne. But because M5 is so strong, they could just bully right into your base. So a split push isn't going to work. They don't have a good means of clearing out creep waves, so you can't stall with someone. I mean, like M5, if Megashock was in the lead, then M5 could stall forever with Anivia, but Megashock doesn't have that same advantage. They don't have the wave clearing capabilities, so M5 can basically just walk up and take down the towers. And if Megashock wants to engage, and stop Kog'Maw from destroying the towers, they're probably just going to lose the fight. Cowtard, take a little bit of burst, but even if they want to engage on Genja, there's not a whole lot of options for them.
There's a stun going down on El Melpo, and Malphite now on the brunt end of a lot of damage. Not looking so hot. But, hey, Steve is back. He's here with the heals and the stuns. Ash Arrow going down. Diamond procs. Malphite ult actually going behind Shyvana, going straight in for Genja. There's a Nocturne ult reducing down the vision. Wants to get the kill on Darien. He's a little bit too far out, and they should be able to go ahead and get that. Here's Diamond procs now looking to help. Baron buff is now down. 1 for 1 so far. Nunu commenting on delicious minion.
I was wondering what that was for a second. I was like, what the hell?
I love that. I love that skin. I love just for that instance. It's like, it was delicious. That wasn't.
But you see, Genja is still perfectly fine, and they have no means of taking down Genja at this point, so they can come right up to the tower. Actually, Cowtard almost going down. A couple of crits would have taken him down. Ash, can stall for a little bit, but while Malphite's down, they can continue to poke this tower, and all the meanwhile, they're going to have to deal with that push mid. So actually, M5, instead of trying to poke down that tower a little bit, they're going to transition out, go back, buy some items. They probably have a ton of gold.
It's a safe thing.
So yeah, they have a decent amount of gold to spend.
Go back to the how much gold does Cog have?
The 13K.
Holy crap!
Yeah, Cog is decently farmed.
Decently, he's rich. He's got rich parents. That's what that is. He's made work for that money, man, and it shows.
This actually might be a good opportunity for Megashock if they can force this, because M5 is kind of split. They're not all there though, so not going to be able to do it.
Can't close it.
10 seconds left on that Ash Arrow, and it is up now, but
yeah, opportunity's gone. Opportunity's gone. But that's just good timing. Good timing notion from M5. Nice timing attack to just go ahead, rush in, knowing the ult is down, take the tower and leave.
Oh, they rush in.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
That's M5's playstyle, right? they rush in.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh God. Anyway, so
I apologize.
That was good. That was good.
Cowtard actually has to back off for a second there. Diamond Proc still has that Oracles. He's been hanging on to it forever. I mean, he had it like 8-minute mark, 10-minute mark or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, and that's how you know you get the money's worth for your oracles. You buy it and you just ensure that you don't die. And yeah, it's Diamond Prox has had this entire time. I know Goats had one a while back. I want to see, like, does anyone on Megashock actually have oracles right now even?
Probably not. It wouldn't be worth it for them. They're just going to lose it. And the big thing is they can't even push out of their base. So we'll see if they have a hard engage here. They kind of have an opportunity. The Shirelias, can't quite get it done. Cog and Anivia are both back in base, but the issue is they don't know that. So they because they don't have any kind of map control, they don't really have an understanding of what's going on with M5 right now.
Baron has just respawned, so now it's just a matter of getting the proper ward coverage over there, because that's the next major objective, because the mid inhib has respawned. So if a Baron is rushed by M5, Megashock will have an easier time to go ahead and try and defend the point. But here's the thing, though. This is what happened last time. Ash went bottom to start farming. M5 saw that as an opportunity to just go ahead and rush the Baron. This may actually happen again here. There is vision on Ash now, looking to try and farm that wave, and now M5's getting in position.
The difficulty is, even if Ash was here, they probably couldn't stop this Baron. M5 would just be, they would just take it, and there's not a whole lot that Megashock could probably do about it. So Ash recognizes, all right, well, I'll get some farm. Then I'll come over here. She needed to stop the wave. It was going to take a tower by itself. The wall off actually almost catching out Kaltar.
There's the arrow coming on in. Who's it going to hit? No, oh, hits the Nunu in the backline, and there's El Mupo trying to make something happen. Ult to the backline. Diamond Prox is a little bit too far away from the rest of the team, but may not even going to be an issue. M5 grabs the kill onto El Mupo, and then Goats slowly but surely taking down every single member of Megashock. This may very well be it. Ghost of Pepper gets the slowdown onto Kaltar and Alexich, getting in position, trying to go a long way around the volley and the stun. Can the damage happen? Kaltar, yes. And that's it. Ash is the only remaining member for Megashock. M5 can just go ahead and push this for the win if they so desire.
Yeah, and M5, this is kind of the same strategy that we've seen from them for a long time. Actually, Genja chasing down Ketnix, throws off the flash, the red buff, he's going to be able to pick up the kill.
That's the
ace. The ace for Genja. But this is what we have seen in the past a lot of times from M5. They like playing these, really strong, just late game teams, and there's just so much synergy from their team, and it's really difficult to deal with. So taking early game advantages, is always a nice thing if you can, try and pressure them. But their play is so safe; they can sit there and just farm very casually, and then just eventually know that they're going to beat you, and you don't really have a huge say in the matter. So we'll see M5 taking game number 1 versus Megashock. Awesome job there.
Very well done. Going to be going up to game number 2 in a little bit as well. Man, Kog'Maw got way too farmed. Shyvana, man, Diamond Prox
just diving in all over the place.
He was on point pretty much all game with those ganks.
It's interesting. We've seen Shyvana. People haven't been picking her for a while, and she's kind of fallen off in people's eyes, but she's still the same champion she's always been.
And also remember who made Shyvana popular?
That's right. Actually, was it Diamond Prox or Darien who made it popular? Because I remember Darien played Shyvana a lot in the top lane, and it was I don't remember who played it first. I'd have to go back and look, but they both played it a lot. But yes, it was M5 that made it popular at the very least. And it's interesting. So Shyvana hasn't really fallen off at all, but everyone is just now all of a sudden, no, you almost never pick Shyvana.
Yeah.
St. Vicious picked her some, Hot Shots picked her some, but the thing with Shyvana, she's just a really strong early game jungler. She provides the movement speed, so she has so much map control. You can control your jungle so easily, and then counter ganks. If you are concerned about an aggressive jungler like Nocturne, you kind of roam around and you have the movement speed where you can catch up into the lane, pick up some kills, and then you're incredibly tanky early on with that dragon form, all that armor and magic resist you get, and all that disruption. But the big thing is, I think people have kind of looked at Shyvana as a weaker form of Mundo, and they both provide that safe counter jungling role where they can both clear the jungle very easily, and they're both kind of just tanky bodies in the fights. And so people look at Shyvana and they go, I'd rather have Mundo. Shyvana, is just a tanky body. That's all she is. And if I want a tanky body, then Nautilus has more disables and more aggression. Mundo has, more damage and more, early game tanking capabilities. But Shyvana definitely has a lot of disruption. It's just a strong overall pick.
There was a hope, though, in Megashock. There was a little bit of hope in El Mupo in the Malphite pick. Yeah. Early Frozen Heart was fantastic, but the thing is, though, you had way too much on M5 to go ahead and counteract that. You had the Blood Boil, and you had the Zeeks as well.
And
so, yeah.
the issue is it's not just the Blood Boil and the Zeeks, it's the fact that M5 had this really strong tanky team. And so Malphite, he has great initiation, but his damage actually potential is fairly low compared to a lot of top or mid lane champions. So Malphite doesn't provide a lot. He has great bursts, so if you can burst people down, that's awesome. But against tanky teams, you're not going to have enough damage to burst them down.
Yep.
And then Kassadin as well has great burst, but not the best sustained damage. Ashe, early game, her damage potential pales in comparison with other ADs. So they tried to go with the initiation advantage, tried to snowball off of it. Didn't quite work. M5 was ready for it.
So we're going to find out what happens game number 2, M5 and Megashock. If M5 wins this next game, they're going to IPL5. I think you want to go ahead and stay around for that. IPL5 EU qualifier number 2 grand finals. Going to commercial. We'll be right back, so do please stay tuned.